Shields up, Paladins, and welcome to an Overwatch Hero Guide. As you can tell by the title of this video, I'll be talking to you all about Symmetra and how I like to use this particular character. Symmetra is one of the damage roll characters within Overwatch. She has 100 health and 100 shields. With all this being said and done, let's go ahead and jump on right on over to her weapon and her abilities. So the first thing I want to talk about is her weapon and the primary fire of her weapon. So her weapon's name is called the Photon Projector. The description of this is Symmetra's weapon emits a ranged beam. It deals continuous damage that increases the longer it is connected. So the damage is 60, 120, and 180. The max range is 12 meters. The area of effect is a 0.2 meter beam width. The ammo is 70. The ammo usage is 7 per second, or plus 7 per second gained against barriers, and the reload time is 1.35 seconds. And of course, you cannot receive headshots with this primary fire. Now, this also levels up by hitting an enemy or an enemy object, for an example, a barrier, turret, mine, etc., for 1.33 seconds. If the beam is not hitting anything, it decays from a level 3 to a level 2 in 4 seconds, and from a level 2 to a level 1 in 2 seconds. This generates ammo instead of consuming it when attacking barriers. And this also, when the beam starts to hit a new target, it temporarily does less damage than normal. If left uninterrupted on a single target, this will yield to 23 less damage. Now, the secondary fire of the Photon Projector, the description of this is the Photon Projector can also release an explosive ball that deals high damage on contact. So the damage is, for a direct hit on a full charge, is 140 damage. The splash damage on a full charge is 17.5 to 70. The projectile speed is 25 meters per second. The area of effect is a 2 meter radius. Rate of fire is 9 rounds per second while charging, which is a 0.25 second recovery. Ammo is 70. Ammo usage is 2 to 10 rounds based on the charge time, and the reload time is 1.35 seconds. And of course, you cannot receive headshots with the secondary fire. Now, this also takes 1 second to fully charge and can be held for 1 second. This automatically consumes 1 round when fired, meaning that the minimum number of rounds is consumed is 2 and the maximum is 10. When spamming the small orb, sometimes this does not apply, and the orbs only consume 1 round that can be fired. If there's only 1 round left, an energy ball can still be fired. The damage is scaled off of the charge time, not the ammo consumption. Going over to her first ability, which is simply called the Sentry Turret. So the aim type of this, of course, is a projectile before deployment, and a beam after it's been deployed. The description of this is Symmetra launches a small turret that can automatically fire speed-reducing blast at the nearest enemy within range. Up to 3 turrets can be built on the battlefield at once. So the health of these little guys are 30, the damage is 40 per second, the movement speed is a minus 20%, projectile speed is 15 meters per second, max range is a 10 meters, which is the turret beam, ammo is 3 stored, max 3 on the field. Casting time is 0.5 seconds for the cast animation, 1 second for the deployment, and the cooldown is 10 seconds per charge. And of course, you cannot receive headshots with this particular ability. Now, the turrets are projectile until they hit the wall, at which points they can be deployed. While in the air, Symmetra's turrets cannot attack, but can still be deployed. They also pass through enemy barriers. They are also unaffected by a defense matrix, deflect, or kinetic grasp. Her next ability that she has is called Teleporter. So Symmetra places a teleporter, or a temporary teleporter, exit pod at a distance and connects to a teleporter entry pod at her current location. Allies, and some of her abilities such as Junkrat's Riptire, can travel through from the entry pod to the exit pod instantly. So the health is 50. It has 250 shields. Healing regenerates 30 shields per second after avoiding damage for 3 seconds. Max range is 30 meters placement. 40 meters is the max absolute range. Area of effect is a 1.5 meter. Casting time is 2 seconds for the deployment, duration is infinite, and the cooldown is 10 seconds. Now this also requires the player to use the interact key to activate unless it's entity separate from a player, in which case it will teleport automatically, which are turrets, divas, mech when self-destructing, etc., etc. This cannot be used while in spawn. Can be deployed by the player by pressing the ability key again. If the entrance or exits are more than 40 meters apart, they are automatically destroyed. Then after teleporting, there's a 1 second cooldown before it can be reused again by the same player. And finally, her ultimate ability, which is called the Photon Barrier. Symmetra deploys a massive energy barrier which prevents ranged attacks, and it's big enough to cut off the entire map. So health is 4,000, max range is 25 meters, area of effect is the entire map, which is 484 meters by 50 meters. Duration is 12 seconds, and the ultimate cost is 1,680 points. Now this can be placed anywhere, including from the spawn room, since it covers the entire map. The orientation can be changed by pressing the ultimate key again, like May's Ice Wall. Now, Symmetra is one of those characters that is very, I would say she's very easy to use just because of the damage of her photon beam. Now, back when the game was first released, that actual beam locked onto you, but now it's more of a free aim type of thing. So back then, she was even easier to use back then, if you could imagine it. But the strategy, or the way that I like to use her, is that she provides both defensive and positional advantages to her team. She can also cover choke points with her sentry turrets, deploy a teleporter to provide her team's higher ground, and ambush the enemy team, and split the map with her ultimate. Her low health and mobility means that she must coordinate with her team to survive, so she's not up there out in the open. You can't sit there and just tank everything, because again, she is not a tank character. She only has 100 shield and 100 health, so really you gotta play, you are basically an extra defense character, is basically what you are. You have to kind of stay back in the back, kind of watch yourself. Also, whenever, whatever group fight does come in, go ahead and definitely engage. But I would say try to focus one target down before splitting off going to a different target. That would be my best bet, my best advice that I can give you, because the longer you actually hold that beam onto a particular target, the more damage that you're going to do, and the quicker that you will be able to get them out of that fight to help your team start getting into a higher advantage from, instead of a 6v6, get down to a 5v5 or a 6v5, and then finally a 6v4, 3, 2, 1 until you end up wiping the team. That would be my best advice that I could possibly give as a Symmetra player myself. And hopefully I answered a lot of questions, comments, concerns with her. If I did, definitely leave a like. Also, if I missed something that you feel like I need to talk about a little bit more, definitely leave a comment down below. I'll be more than happy to read them, and I'll definitely reply back to you, because I'm definitely interested in seeing what you all have to say about her as well. Thank you guys.